All right, welcome to the first ever Caps coverage live watch along experience. We're going to give this a shot tonight. We'll see how it goes. Honestly, I have no idea what to expect from this. So, my plan here has just been to kind of treat this like a radio call. I have a lot of play by play experience with ice hockey, and obviously, I've never done it for the Capitals before or for an NHL game for that matter. But I feel like this is a good way to just kind of watch the game. I think it'll be a fun experience for everybody. At least I hope it's going to be. Yeah, Caps Flyers coming up soon. And I'll just give you kind of a rundown of what I'm looking at. So I'm running this stream out of OBS. I have a microphone right in front of me that you guys are hearing, and then when the game's going on, I have this bug that I'm controlling through my phone to just kind of give you an idea of where I'm seeing where the game is at on the stream that I'm watching through my laptop. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to watch chats during the game because I have to have my stream up and the game up for me to be able to watch. But I'm going to try to keep up with you guys to keep this kind of like a fan centric experience. But like I said, I want to try and treat this like a bit of a radio play by play thing, and that's the other purpose of that clock at the top. That way, if you want to try and sync it up with the feed that you're watching, you can play the audio here and then watch whatever you're watching up there. And we'll see how this goes. I might be able to do one more tomorrow night if those goes well. And then throughout the rest of the season, we'll see if we can sprinkle in a few more. But I'm excited for what this is going to be. Should be a fun game between the Caps and the Flyers today. Caps still somehow not dead yet in the playoff hunt. They are damn doing their best to try and get themselves out of it, though. Them and Philly are still kind of neck and neck in the Metro. Let me pull up the exact standings right now for this little pregame chat. Yeah, so Caps are currently 6 points, or sorry, 7 points behind the Bruins for the wild card two position, and 8 points behind the Islanders for third place in the Metro. Philly even further behind the Caps; they're at 69 instead of 71. So Washington mathematically not out of it yet. Philly mathematically not out of it yet. Both of them did a little bit of a light sell at the deadline, though, so kind of missing the best pieces of what used to be their rosters, to say the least. As for the Caps tonight, you get the debut of Timothy Liljegren. He's going to be playing in his first game as a Capital today. We'll see how that goes. The former Leaf and Shark. Carberry, I believe he said that he's playing with Sandy, and I could be wrong about that. We'll see how it's going when the game starts. But yeah, game should be getting going in about 5 or 6 minutes. So hopefully we get on to that soon, and I'm excited for what tonight's going to look like. Let's see what we got here. And for anybody wondering, I am legally watching this game. It's through my FiOS account. I'm not using Stream East or anything like that. I'm being slightly ethical for this stream today. So it's a national coverage with TNT as well. So you weren't able to get our normal calls with Joby and Walker. So this might be a bit of a more fan-centric experience as opposed to the national audience for all of you guys watching tonight. And yeah, here we go. Oh, they got the standings on screen right now. I guess I could have waited till this. So yes, they are highlighting the Caps and Flyers, both a good amount out of the playoffs at the moment. But this is what the Caps looked like in 2024 when they were quite terrible to end the season, still made the playoffs at 91 points. So keep on winning. You're not dead until you're dead. They're not completely out of it yet. I still have very little faith in this team to make the playoffs this season, especially without John Carlson now. I think that was just too much of a hit to the locker room. But they looked good on Monday. I was there in person for that 7-3 win over the Flames. The two shorthanded goals on the same power play was definitely not ideal, to say the least. Would highly recommend they don't do that again in the future. But we'll see how this goes tonight. Philly's been in a bit of a rut. We had lost two straight before picking up that win over the Flames on Monday. Caps again in action tomorrow night against the Buffalo Sabres in the second leg of their short back-to-back road trip day. They're in pregame ceremonies in Philly right now, so we should be getting going within the next 5 minutes. I'm going to take a quick break and make sure that I'm fully prepared for this game, but excited to see where this goes tonight. Okay, I think everything is fully in order now. We shouldn't have any more technical issues. The only thing that would screw me over at this point is if my building loses Wi-Fi connection, which has happened a couple of times in the last few days. So we're just not gonna think about it, and it won't happen, and we'll be just fine. But yes, you can consider this my unofficial audition tape to take over in Washington someday. When I get the play-by-play going, you guys can judge my skills on that front. But I have a lot of experience calling hockey games, and then I've done some other sports throughout my broadcasting time. I've done a field hockey game. We'll be doing lacrosse relatively soon. I've done some baseball in the past. So, good repertoire of sports under my belt for play by play experience. Hockey's definitely the one where I'm the most comfortable, and it's the one that I also played the most growing up. So, I'm very familiar with the rule set and how things function and how things develop, which lets me kind of predict plays a little bit. It makes it a lot easier to call the game. But we'll see how this is with the NHL level of play. It's definitely a little bit different than the college hockey I've called in the past and still call these days. I'm very excited. Hopefully this game gets started soon. We're already at 7:38 Eastern. Everybody who's tuned in so far, thank you so much. Just a bit of a background if you're new here. I started Caps coverage as like a side project in the February of 2022. Uh, Always just had it as a plan to kind of post about the team on Instagram and build up within the community in there and just make it kind of a small cap centric thing. I never thought it would vault up to what it's become at this point. That shout out from Puck Empire in September 2024 definitely did some heavy lifting there. But I'm very excited for what's happened with the growth of this page. Hopefully, it becomes something bigger as time goes on. It's already huge as is. Over 1,000 followers is something I never could have dreamed of back then. But yeah, we're at like 1,050, 1,060, something in that range right now, and only growing from there. And hopefully, these watch alongs are the next step in what is a fun and long career for Caps coverage. Sam Urson and Logan Thompson, your starters in Philadelphia today. LT back in the goal for Washington after picking up the win on Monday night, and we are underway from the Wells Fargo Center in Philly, or former Wells Fargo Center, now expanding Mobile Arena. Flyers win that opening face-off. Getting the puck through neutral, it's intercepted by McMichael. McMichael attempting to start a breakout here for the Capitals. McMichael up ahead, skate to stick, was Jacob Chikrin, but the play whistled dead for an offside. We'll go back to center. 19:42 left here in the first period. First whistle coming in as we take a look at both head coaches here. Spencer Carberry and Rick Tocchet. Rick Tocchet, his first season behind the bench in Philly. He's definitely improved them a little bit from where they were under Tortorella last year. Face-off here is won by Dubois. Van Riemsdyk with it in center. He'll dump it into the offensive zone to try to get things set for the Capitals. Philly's taking it the other way. Flyers working in neutral at the moment. Dumping it in from center. Thompson out of his net to play it around the boards. Philly trying to keep it in the offensive zone. Caps with the takeaway. Here comes Washington. McMichael, a backhand feed over for Dubois. Another offside there on the Capitals, and they'll take it back out in center again. Two straight zone entries for the Caps where Jacob Chikrin got crossed up with a teammate. And I believe both times it was Connor McMichael in that situation. Less than a minute gone here in the first period. Still no shots between the Caps and the Flyers. And what's a weird game for both teams. It's a bit of a tank bowl and a bit of a playoff race for both sides. Philly wins the neutral zone draw. Dylan Strome chasing it down in his defensive end. He gets taken into the boards there. Strome still fighting for the puck against Lendene. Held in at the point here by Drysdale. Drysdale down low. That pass is read by Strome. He pokes it into the corner for Protas. Protas plays it up into center. Drysdale forced to reset. This is Sanheim. Sanheim into the offensive zone, one-on-one against Sandin. The two of them go into the boards behind Thompson. Protas picks up the loose puck. Protas up ahead for Sordiff. Justin Sordiff into the offensive zone, onside with Wilson. First one back there is Ristolainen for the Flyers. Around the boards, Philly trying to get out of the offensive zone. They can, but it's held in by Sordiff in neutral. He'll dump it right back in for Washington. Flyers still can't get the puck cleanly through center here. Sordiff on the near point. Sordiff into the offensive zone. Spins around one on the circle now. Sordiff back up to the point for Liljegren with a shot that goes wide. Ovechkin picks it up and whistles one wide. Sordiff another shot and a save by Urson there. And now Philly takes it out of the defensive zone. Here come the Flyers. Trevor Zegras. Zegras playing it down low on the circle with a shot. That one dribbled dangerously in front of Thompson off the stick of Grubikin. Caps with the recovery. This is Farivari slowing things down with both teams in the middle of a change. Caps with the breakout here. It's Frank. Frank up ahead into the offensive zone. One touch pass there with Duhaime. Cam York, first one there for the Flyers. York trying to play it up the boards. Duhaime with the keep in, and he pumps it right at Urson, who will squeeze it to his chest for the whistle there. Second shot of the game for the Capitals comes off the stick of number 22 from the point. We'll see this chance for Owen Tippett one more time. Tippett took the shot, never got all the way to Thompson. It was blocked out in front, but it took a dangerous roll right next to him. At the other end, Ovi taking a bit of a check right there in the corner as he sent it across to Sordiff on that play. Offensive zone draw for the Caps is won by Philadelphia, but down low, Duhaime takes possession. Duhaime to the point for Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk will play it down to the far corner. First one there is Drysdale for the Flyers. Drysdale trying to get it out. He can't. Lapierre with a shot that goes wide. Van Riemsdyk with a shot from the circle. Rebound. Frank Ayerson gets there and covers it up with the glove. Good looks there for Washington's fourth line on the offensive zone faceoff. They lost the draw, but Duhaime did everything right behind the net to get possession. Turned into a scoring chance for Ethan Frank right there. Hope everybody's enjoying this game so far. Caps coverage watch along, hopefully the first of many tonight between the Capitals and the Flyers for their road game in Philadelphia. Defensive zone draw won by Philadelphia. Ristolainen has the puck for Philly. Ristolainen plays it off the boards. Flyers have possession in center and now into the offensive zone. It's Sanheim with a shot. That one's blocked out of play by Thompson. And we got a whistle. Also, I have a bit of a cough at the moment, as you may be able to tell. It's allergy season here in the DC metro area, and it is not kind to me every year. And we're kind of in the worst of it right now. Shots on goal 3-1 in favor of Washington here. Offensive zone draw for Philly is won by the Flyers. Sanheim trying to play it down low. It skips over a stick. Dubois trying to pick it up for the Capitals. Far corner puck battle. Matt Roy joins the fight for Washington. Christian Dvorak there comes out in Philadelphia possession. That pass there was read by Washington. McMichael plays it into neutral. Philly forced to reset. Sanheim dumps it in from the red line as he needs a change. Dubois goes back there for Washington, leaves to Sandin. Rasmus Sandin looking for the breakout play. Sandin doesn't like the passing lane, so he'll send it around the boards. At the point, this is Roy with a shot deflected in front. Urson had to be ready for that one. That was a good high shot chip from Dylan Strome. Another shot from the point gets down to Protas below the net. Protas around the boards for Strome. Strome back down to Protas. One touch Wilson. Wilson at the point. This is Roy. Roy back down for Protas. Protas back up. Roy with a one-time blast that goes wide. Recollected in center by Washington. They're keeping the pressure right on. It's Protas. Up for Strome. Back for Wilson. That pass was read by Konechny, and now Philly's out the other way. Here come the Flyers. This is Tippett. Tippett! Good defensive play there from Timothy Liljegren. That's his first highlight as a Capital, but it may have been a little bit too much because there's a signal for a hold. And, yep, he's got his first penalty in a Washington uniform on that play. Stalled up. Timothy Liljegren stalled up Owen Tippett there on that breakaway attempt. Just got a little bit too much of him with his hands, and it turns into a hold. So Timothy Liljegren's first time in the scorebook as a Capital, definitely not the most positive one you'll ever see. Philly gets to go up against a not great Washington penalty kill now. Offensive zone draw for Philly will be to Thompson's right, while the Flyers' power play is tied for 30th this year. All right, so you got a couple of poor units. At the point, this is Drysdale. Drysdale to the outside for Michkov. Going down low for Konechny. He was trying to feed. That was Zegras in front. He couldn't get to him. Tippett back for Zegras. Zegras up to the point. It's Drysdale. Drysdale back to Zegras on the circle. Zegras looking for options. He'll take the shot. It goes wide of Thompson. Off the boards. It's picked up by Konechny. Konechny up for Drysdale. Zegras fakes. Back to Drysdale. Down low. It's Michkov. Matvei Michkov on the near circle to the point for Drysdale. Down low, Konechny. One touch. Zegras, they were looking for him. A good defensive stick there forces it back into neutral. Drysdale up ahead with Konechny. Konechny trying to establish the power play for Philadelphia. Konechny sends it around the side to Zegras. Zegras up to the point for Tippett. Tippett back down low with Konechny. Konechny trying to go even lower for Zegras. They got crossed up. Zegras still has possession against Farivari. Tippett back up to the point with Drysdale. Back for Konechny. Across. Zegras couldn't hold it cleanly. He has to go back to Drysdale at the point under a minute on the power play. Konechny with a shot. He broke his stick. Michkov has it below the Washington net. Philly still looking for it. Drysdale down for Konechny. Konechny up for Drysdale. Drysdale fakes, goes to Zegras. Zegras on the far circle for Drysdale with a shot. It's saved by Thompson. The rebound is loose and cleared down the ice by Washington there. Big clear. Washington needed a change badly. Philly still on the power play for another 25 seconds. Flyers still trying to get it going one more time as that shot goes wide of Thompson. Picked up off the boards, and they get it down through center. And now McMichael's going to try and kill more time. He'll take a shot there. It's blocked down by York. Washington doesn't care, though. Down to 5 seconds left on the penalty to Liljegren. McMichael with one more clear, and that'll take the rest of the time off this penalty. Good first penalty kill there for the Capitals. Not a lot of opportunities for Philly there. They just kind of moved the puck around the offensive zone and never took shots. Dubois trying to get in on Ersson. That puck kind of rolls towards Ersson's crease. He'll cover. And this should be the first TV timeout here in Philadelphia. And yes, it will be. So your shots on goal, 3-3. Just over 7 minutes into this first period in Philly. As we're in our first commercial break, thank you to everybody who's tuned in so far for this first ever Caps watch along with Caps coverage. That was a fun first 7.5 minutes, 6.5 minutes of play in Philadelphia. Early penalty kill for the Capitals on that one, with Timothy Liljegren taking his first infraction in Washington. Still in commercial break here. If you have any questions for me, you can drop them in the chat and I'll try and answer them during media timeouts. It's definitely been an up and down season, to say the least, here in Washington. If they weren't the worst team in the league from about early December to mid January, they'd be in a much different spot right now and would probably have two more players on their roster than they do right now. We all know which two they are, but it is what it is. They sucked for that month-long stretch. There's nothing we can do about it now. They're not dead yet. They've still definitely got a chance at the playoffs, as even though that chance is getting smaller as each day goes on, and the Bruins and Islanders seem to refuse to lose. And to a lesser extent, the Caps seem to be refusing to win. Best chance there for Philly on that power play was that deflection by Konechny off the shot from Zegras that was saved by Thompson, as we're taking another look at it there, and that shot from Drysdale at the point. Another save for Thompson on that one. He had the full set line, though. Should be an offensive zone draw coming up. Yep, it's to Erson's left. And we're back to playing in Philly. Sanheim with possession off the face-off. Trying to stretch that one through neutral. It's deflected past center, no icing. Van Riemsdyk picks it up behind Washington's net for Chychrun. Chychrun has Sordiff in center. Sordiff over the blue line. Sordiff looking for a pass. He has to take the shot instead. It's sticked aside by Erson. Sordiff still with it in the near circle. Sordiff trying to play it out for Dubois. Dubois pushes it over to Chychrun with a shot. Dubois, loose puck there. He couldn't take the shot. Back up to the points, Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk for Dubois. Back up for Van Riemsdyk with a point blast. That one's blocked down in front. Couturier slowing things down for the Flyers here. Plays it up for Sanheim. Back over to tip it into the offensive zone. Chychrun with the takeaway. Washington's going to try and go the other way here. Chychrun looking to start the charge from behind his cage. Jacob Chychrun. Long pass there. He was looking for Strome. Strome never got a chunk of it, and this will turn into icing against the Capitals. 12:27 left in the first period. Still no score between the Caps and the Flyers. Shots on goal 5-3 in favor of Washington. Was on the most recent offensive zone possession for the Caps. Ovi was looking for a deflection in front. Couldn't get anything against Erson. Offensive zone draw up coming here for the Flyers. Philly wins the offensive zone. Oh my gosh, what is this camera angle that they're using? My goodness, TNT. Flyers trying to get going in the offensive zone. Caps get it down the ice, and this will be back-to-back icings against your Washington Capitals. TNT, please never use that camera angle again. That sucks from a viewing experience. I couldn't see any numbers on that thing. They're highlighting Ovechkin here on their broadcast, reminding everybody that he is the all-time leader in National Hockey League goals with 921 and 9-time Rocket Richard Trophy winner. Caps win the defensive zone draw off the icing. Get it into center with Strome. Strome up ahead. He was looking for one more pass to Chychrun, but it was read by Philly. Timothy Liljegren Off the boards to Wilson. Wilson trying to leave it for Strome. Grabakin read that pass. Nikita Grabakin. Grabakin. Up to the point. This is York. Down low. Philly trying to establish themselves in the offensive zone. This is Drysdale. Drysdale. One touch back over to Drysdale with a shot. It never got all the way to Thompson. Cam York still dangerous for Philadelphia with Drysdale. Drysdale sending it down low. Flyers getting some offensive zone time here. That pass was offline, though. Tom Wilson picks it up. Wilson off the boards to Protas, and Protas pushes it into the center. Caps get out of it for the moment. Tippett plays it back for York. York getting pressured hard by Wilson. Wilson with the takeaway behind Ersson. Wilson trying to keep it in at the point there with Duhaime, and they do for the moment. Lapierre taken down. That's going to be a trip on Philadelphia, or a hook, whatever you want to call it. Caps are head to their first power play. And if you may remember from Monday night, the power play was definitely not good for the Caps. Two shorthanded goals for Calgary on the same advantage. You'll see the hook on Zegras again right there against Lapierre. Got a stick up on the hands as Hendricks was trying to play that puck. You can see the chance here. Drysdale playing catch with, I believe that's Dvorak. Back over for Drysdale, and his shot doesn't get all the way to Thompson on second look. Trevor Zegras in the box for the next 2 minutes. Dylan Strome wins the faceoff forward. Ryan Leonard back up to the point. The Caps are set on the power play. It's Dubois. Down for Strome. Back for Dubois. Dubois up to the point. Chychrun. Ovechkin a shot. That doesn't get on goal. Ovechkin picking it back up for Strome. Back out Chychrun. Over to Strome. Strome with a shot. That one's wide of Ersson. Ovechkin keeping it in on the far side for Leonard. Back around the boards at Strome. Why are they using this camera angle? This sucks. Strome up for Chychrun. Chychrun to Ovechkin. Back up Chychrun. Takes the shot. Goes to Strome on the circle. Strome rotating with Chychrun. Chychrun on the circle down low. Dubois trying to force it in front. He can't keep it on net. Ovechkin fighting for it on the far boards. Ryan Leonard comes out with the puck. Leonard will take a shot. Score! Ryan Leonard. A power play goal. And Caps are on top in Philadelphia in the first period. Ryan Leonard make that 3 straight games, or 3 goals in the last 4 for number 9 in white. Let's take another look at it here from a proper camera angle that you should actually be using during a broadcast. Ovechkin does a good job kicking that off the boards. Leonard takes it and then just rips it past Sam Ersson. Beats him cleanly with the wrist shot there. With that quick release, Ersson trying to move back into position. He was too late to catch up to it with the blocker. Ryan Leonard, that'll be his lucky number 13th of the season. Caps win the faceoff after the goal with Sordiff. We'll see if they can build the momentum on the road. Cates and Sordiff going into the boards against each other. Sordiff able to come out with the puck. Sordiff trying to feed it out in front. That one's red for the moment. And now in center, Philly's got it. Deep in the defensive zone, Rasmus Sandin picks up the puck. Plays it off the boards and then gets it back. This is Sandin losing his footing in center. Has to play it up for Sordiff. That play looked like it was offside. Doesn't matter anyways. It rolls back in Washington's defensive end. Sandin resetting again. Rasmus Sandin back skating in his own end in front of Thompson. Sandin waiting for his teammates to get onto the ice. Plays it up for Liljegren. Liljegren carries the red line and then dumps it into the offensive zone. Caps getting established here with the fourth line. As that puck deflects out of play. Lapierre was trying to feed the point there. That puck bounced out of play, but this should be our second TV timeout of the first period. Ryan Leonard has the Caps on top here in Philly, just over halfway through the opening 20. Again, thank you to everybody who's tuned in so far. Caps on top over Philly. Truly, I'm beyond grateful that Caps coverage has gotten to the point where it's big enough that I can even do something like this and have people show up for it. It's honestly surreal at this point, but it is not too long ago that this account would struggle to get like 5 likes on a post. That would have been, I think, September of 2024. If I hit double digits, that was a big post. Now it's like that's the expectation, and big posts can hit 100 sometimes. Depending on the collab, I can get into thousands, 10,000s, stuff like that. It's crazy how big this page has gotten in such a short amount of time, and it's truly thanks to you guys who all tune into stuff like this, interact with the posts when they're out. I truly couldn't do it without you, and I am very, very grateful to have this audience that for such an amazing team, best team in the world, the Washington Capitals. Even if they don't play like it some nights. But yeah, still in commercial break here for another little bit. We'll be back in Philly soon enough. And oh wow, okay, I guess they messed up that timing. 8.5 minutes left in the period. Glad nothing happened in those first 30 seconds. TNT did not adjust that well. Zegras playing it out in front, nobody home on that pass. Wilson picks it up in center. Tom Wilson plays it around Ersson. Behind the net's picked up. And now at the point, this is Van Riemsdyk. Across. Shot there from Chychrun is blocked down right in front of him by Zegras, and it forces Chychrun back into his defensive end. And that might turn into a hook against Jacob, and it looks like it will. It appears Philly's headed to their second power play of the day, second time that a Capitals defenseman has been dinged for 2 minutes. Philly didn't really get looks on their first opportunity. Let's take another look at this penalty on Chychrun. Really didn't see much there. That's unfortunate. Unlucky break there for number 6 in white. It looked like he was just playing defense, and the officials did not like him doing that. No other way to really put that one. Philly to its second power play of the night. Did not get a ton of high-quality looks on the first one, but they did do a very good job of maintaining possession. And we will redo the face-off here. McMichael going up against Konechny. McMichael wins it into the corner. Wilson there for the Caps, and he'll get an early clear. It's going to get all the way down the ice. Ersson goes behind his net to leave it out for Drysdale. Drysdale picking up speed. He'll sling it back. Here comes Philly with the slingshot. This is Zegras. Zegras off the boards, can't handle it cleanly, and McMichael forces that puck back into center again. Drysdale loses his footing. Owen Tippett, luckily there for him, and they're back into the offensive zone. This is Konechny. Konechny down to Tippett. Tippett on the circle. Goes to the point with Drysdale. Back over to Tippett. Tippett across for Zegras. Zegras facing some pressure from Wilson, sends it down low to Michkov. Michkov up for Zegras. That one poke check by Wilson, and he'll send it down the ice. 2 good clears there for the Caps. Ersson out of his net to play it again. Philly putting their second unit onto the ice with Cam York. York for Barkey. Drop pass there with Cates. Back up for York. York sends it across. That's Dvorak. Back to the point for York with a shot. It's blocked down in front. And Washington will be able to clear again. Under a minute to go on this penalty to Jacob Chychrun. Anthony Beauvillier providing some forecheck there. Cates gets around him, and he's going to try and take advantage here. Cates drop pass to Dvorak. Across with a shot. That one coming off the stick there, a bump. Save for Thompson. Protus picking up that loose puck on the near boards. He'll send it down the ice. Ayerson goes out of his net to play it for a third time. Cam York looking for one last opportunity on this man advantage. York for Sanheim. Up to Couturier. Couturier plays it around the side. Can Philly keep it in? No, it's back in neutral again. That should kill out the rest of this penalty to Jacob Chikrin. Caps already 2 for 2 on the PK in this first period, and they were two very dominant kills. Out in front, that one loose in front of Thompson. Sean Couturier was giving a couple of pokes at it. Thompson able to cover it up. Caps and Flyers getting into it after this whistle. Jacob Chikrin, fresh out of the box, throwing some fists. Officials breaking them up as we'll probably hit our third and final TV timeout as Brandon Duhaime gets into it a little bit more. Brandon Duhaime, a bit surprisingly, still on this team after the trade deadline. Let's see it one more time here. That was Gabrakin playing in front for Glendening, who had the shot, and then Couturier was trying to come in late. And that's what the Caps took exception to with McMichael and Chikrin. Officially on break now. I'll take the time to rest my voice for a little bit here. We're back here in Philadelphia. Duhaime and Grabakin, each assessed, presumably roughing minors, for what happened after that whistle behind Thompson's cage. Initially, it was, I believe, McMichael and Couturier who were going at it. They broke it up pretty quickly, though, and then Duhaime and Grabakin kept it going. Usually it's those second guys who draw the penalties. In this case, that's ringing true. So Washington will be without number 22 and Philly without number 29 for the next 2 minutes. We'll see if they call it 5-on-5 or 4-on-4 when we get out of this break officially. And it is 4-on-4, so let me put up those penalties on the board for you. And we are back to play. All right. Jacob Chikrin with the puck behind Thompson's net. Chikrin looking for a passing lane. He's got one. This is Dubois. Dubois sends it back, skate to stick. That was a dangerous play there for Faravari. Dubois picks it back up in his defensive end, plays it for Faravari. Hard Faravari. Up for Chikrin. Chikrin in center. Chikrin trying to get around York. He can't. Now Philly's out the other way. This is Cates. Cates and Sordiff, one-on-one into the boards. Sordiff skates his stick. He'll kick it up for Chikrin, and Chikrin plays it over to Faravari. Faravari, back for Sordiff. Justin Sordiff picks it up into the offensive zone. He'll take a shot from the circle. That one's held on to by Ayerson, and we get a whistle here with 5:06 left in the first period. Still 4-on-4 for another 69 seconds. Shots on goal 7-6 in favor of Washington. Caps also on top 1-0 on the scoreboard. Dylan Strome in the offensive end, 4-on-4 for the Caps. He's going to the dot here. He'll be up against Christian Dvorak for Philly. Strome wins the draw across. A shot from the point there from Roy goes wide. Sandin for Strome. Strome back up for Sandin. Sandin, a nice move there to hold possession, and he does it again. Sandin coming in. Sandin gets taken down from one knee. He's drawn a penalty, and now Dvorak touches up. And the Caps are going to be on a 4-on-3 power play here. What an individual effort from Rasmus Sandin to draw that one. It's going to be a trip. I think that was Dvorak who he was up against. We'll take a look at it again here. Well, he gets around Dvorak there, and then this is where the trip comes in. It's going to be on Ristolainen. So Rasmus Ristolainen taking down Sandin after he had some amazing hands at the point to keep the play alive for the Caps. It'll be a 4-on-3 power play for the next 49 seconds, and then a 5-on-4 after that. Caps 1-for-1 on the power play so far tonight, thanks to Ryan Leonard, who will not be on the ice as a member of this starting four. Strome kicked out of the dot. Wilson will replace him. Couturier taking it for Philadelphia. Wilson with the win. Chychrun up to Ovechkin. Back to Chychrun. Back to Ovechkin. Ovechkin for Chychrun. Back for Ovi. Ovi trying to play it down low for Strome. That pass was deflected by a Flyer stick. Strome trying to hold it at the blue line. He'll have to play it into center with Chychrun. Chychrun back into the offensive zone with Wilson. Wilson playing it across. That pass is read by the Flyers, and they send it down the ice. Thompson out of his net leaves to Chychrun. Jacob Chychrun plays it back behind him for Strome. Dylan Strome at the far point goes to Chychrun. Chychrun going real slow down to Strome. Back up for Chychrun. It'll be 5-on-4 in 3 seconds. Chychrun with it on the near circle. We're at 5-on-4 now. Chychrun trying to feed in front. It's held in by Strome on the clearing attempt from the Flyers. Fresh off the bench. Caps were trying to get going in the 5-on-4, and that play is read by Dvorak. He'll take it all the way down the ice himself. Caps still on the power play for about 50 more seconds. This is Dubois. Dubois leaves to Sandin. Sandin, one more touch to Leonard. Ryan Leonard, who has a power play goal tonight for Protas. Protas off the boards to Dubois. Back over Ovechkin with a shot. That one goes high. Off the boards, it'll come all the way down and be a free clear for Philly. Thompson leaves to Sandin. Sandin trying to get one last rush on this power play here. This is Protas. Alexi Protas sends it around the boards. Right in front of Ersson, loose puck. At the point, it's held in by Sandin. Sandin can't do his stick moves there again, and Cates pushes it into center, and that'll take off the rest of this penalty to Ristolainen. Leonard's still dangerous for a moment, but it's taken away by Tippett. Back to 5-on-5 play here in Philadelphia. This is Liljegren. Liljegren around the wall. At the point, a long shot there goes well wide. Picked up by the Caps, this is McMichael. McMichael can't hold it against Sanheim. Sanheim plays it down for York. York can't get it cleanly. Duvillier was trying to take a shot on the circle. He couldn't get it off. Now here comes Philly with Konechny. Konechny into the boards against Faravari. Duhaime and Dvorak in the fight as well. Loose puck behind Thompson's cage. Liljegren picks it up. Liljegren sending it around the boards, and it gets into center. Philadelphia still trying to get established cleanly in the offensive zone here. Roy picks it up behind Thompson. He's got Liljegren with him. Zegras, though, with the takeaway for Philly. Flyers getting set now. Long range shot. That one's blocked by Beauvillier into the corner. Zegras picks it up. Philly still dangerous here. Long shot there. Blocker to side by Thompson. Loose puck at the side of the net. Tippett and Roy are fighting for it. In the corner, McMichael there too. Zegras has it behind the Washington net. Zegras looking for a pass in front. Nobody home there. Sort of trying to get it out. He can. It's held in again by the Flyers. Point pass down low to Michkov. Michkov one touch to Zegras. Zegras can't get it around McMichael, and McMichael thankfully pushes it back into center. Caps can finally get a change. That's got to be quick as here comes Zegras with a shot. Pad save there for Thompson. In the corner, Van Riemsdyk plays it out in front dangerously. Good awareness there from Lapierre to get it out quick. Now here comes Frank. Frank with speed in the offensive zone. He gets possession. Frank to the point. It's Van Riemsdyk. TVR will take the shot. That one goes wide of Ersson. The other side, it's Chychrun. Back over to Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk on the circle to Frank. Frank back up for Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk doesn't have options, sends it down low. Duhaime for Lapierre. Lapierre around the boards to Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk on the circle. Playing it up. This is Lapierre. Lapierre one-on-one there against Couturier. He's getting pressured hard. Lapierre trying to hold the blue line. He can. Frank, one more pass there. He was looking for Duhaime. That one was offline. Couturier gets it out of the defensive zone for Philly, and that should kill out the rest of this first period. 2-1 as that puck goes down the ice. That'll do it for the opening 20 in Philadelphia. Caps on top of the Flyers 1-0 after 20. I'm going to take a 5-minute break here, then might come back for a little bit for a mini intermission report. But normally I've got a color person with me when I do these calls. It takes a lot more off your voice when you aren't even stopping between the whistles. I'll take a minute off. All right, as promised, 8:30 we are back here for the Caps coverage watch along for tonight's game between the Caps and the Flyers. According to the NHL app, there's about 2 minutes left in intermission in Philadelphia, so we'll do a quick little recap of what happened in that first period of play for you here right now. 1-0 Capitals after that first 20. Your lone goal, courtesy of Ryan Leonard on the power play, a pure snipe past Sam Ersson. Ersson had a clean line of sight on that puck. Just went clean rip right over the blocker's side. Ersson wasn't able to react in time. Ryan Leonard, that was his 13th goal of the season, third on the man advantage. And then aside from that, kind of a bit of a nothing period. Both teams finished with 7 shots on net. Not a lot of high danger looks from either side. Even Leonard's goal, I wouldn't consider a high danger look, just beat Ersson cleanly on a pure snipe. And we are getting just about ready to go back in Philly. TNT is getting its broadcast back. They're going to do another quick look at the standings here and remind us that the Capitals are definitely outside of the playoff picture, but as are the Philadelphia Flyers. Whether you want to treat this as potentially getting in to be toasted as a wild card 2 in round 1, or ruining the tank, Caps are on top after that first 20. Give you a quick check-in from around the NHL, see if they're somehow getting help tonight, even though they haven't been getting it all season. Senators, Canadiens, the only other game that's on today. The Senators are, of course, up 2-1 after the first period, so Caps wanted help. They're not going to be getting it there. Montreal not doing their job to help out Washington so far. But we are just about ready for the second period here in Philadelphia for the inaugural Caps coverage watch along. At least I think we are. Should be getting playing pretty much now. All right, TNT, what are we doing? You're still in the intermission room. Okay. According to the NHL app, the second period hasn't started yet, but they've gone from intermission to 20 on the clock. They're still very much in conversation on TNT. Let's reload our TV real quick. See if we maybe got behind during that first intermission. Now I've got an ad on screen. That's normal for coming back to TV. Let's see. And this seems like a full commercial break. They really threw me off with that one, to say the least. We'll see how long it takes until the second period's ready to go. I should have looked at my watch to see when that first period of play ended. Try and keep a better track of when that 18 minutes would be up. All right, here we go. Now it says start a second period. We're getting going. So I guess for TNT, just add 2 minutes to whatever the normal intermission time is so that they can get in their extra ad break. That's how it works for the national game. All right, they got Ovi sitting on the bench giving fist bumps to all the coaches and Chucky. Training staff and equipment staff as well. Capitals are 19-1-1 when leading after the first period this season. Wow, that is impressive, to say the least. Did not know that stat off the top of my head. Okay. Well, we are just about set. for the second period here in Philadelphia. Both teams look ready to go. Both coaches want them to drop this puck. Dvorak circling in center for Philadelphia against Dubois. The two of them now getting set. And we are back underway here from Philadelphia for Caps Flyers on this beautiful Wednesday night. Team's going the other way now on the ice. Dvorak picks up the puck, plays it across the ice for Bump. Bump, one-on-one in the offensive zone against Chychrun. He goes behind the net. This is Bump. Bump leaves it on the boards. Nobody home there. Dubois trying to chase it down for the Caps. He can't do it cleanly. Philly trying to get established early here. Drysdale with a long shot saved by Thompson. The rebound was loose in front. A broken stick as Thompson jumps on top of that puck. Big scramble right in front of number 48 in white. He's able to get on top of the puck before Dvorak can push it in. Let's see if we can get another look at it here. Yeah, Bump down low, plays it up to the point for Drysdale, who takes an innocent-looking shot. Thompson comes up with a save, and then it becomes a scramble in front after Dvorak snaps his stick, going for that rebound. Take one more look at it here. Dvorak with the deflection, and then he breaks his stick right in front of Thompson as LT covers up that puck. That one, LT's 8th save of the game now. Defensive zone draw for win for Strome. Sandin up ahead with Wilson. Wilson over the blue line. Wilson falls down, and now here comes Philly the other way. Flyers into the offensive zone. It's Grabakin. Nikita Grabakin. Around for Glendening. Glendening couldn't get it cleanly by Protas. Ristolainen keeps it in at the near point. He'll play it down low to Grabakin. Grabakin on the boards. Rings it around the side. It'll go to the point for Sanheim. Sanheim. Even lower. This is Grabakin. Grabakin gets taken down there by Wilson. Philly wanted a penalty. They're not going to get it. Sandin picks up the puck. He'll play it up to Protas. Alexei Protas dumps it in from center as he's in need of a change. Sanheim takes the puck for Philadelphia. Sanheim, a long stretch pass there, looking for Zegras, and that'll turn into an icing on the Flyers as Zegras couldn't beat Faravari to the stripes there. Just over a minute and a half played in this second period. Philly with the only shot on goal so far in the frame. Still 1-0 Caps here in Philadelphia, honoring Alex Bump right now on the broadcast. Offensive zone draw is won by Beauvillier. Ovechkin with the shot from the point. That one goes wide of Ersson and bounces out of play. Beauvillier with the face-off win. It was a set piece for Ovi. Wasn't quite in the right spot for it. Ended up having to take it more from the blue line instead of the circle. That only runs 3 seconds off the clock there. It'll be another offensive zone draw. Beauvillier can't win 2 in a row. This is Ristolainen. Ristolainen across to Zegras. Zegras against Liljegren. They'll leave it for Faravari. Faravari plays it up ahead, and now here come the Caps trying to get into the offensive zone. It's Ovechkin. Ovechkin in a foot race there does not win it against Tippett. Owen Tippett back the other way for the Flyers. He'll take the offensive zone dump as Philly's trying to get established here. This is Tippett. Tippett on the far circle against Beauvillier on the boards. Loose puck in the corner. Liljegren didn't have his stick. He's able to kick it, though, over the blue line and force Philly to reset. Sortif. Plays to Liljegren. Back for Sortif. Justin Sortif looking for a pass. He was trying to feed Frank right there. Jamie Drysdale was in the passing lane for Philly, and now they're out the other way again. This is Cates. Noah Cates plays it deep into the offensive zone. Caps are trying to get around the blue line. It was held in for the moment. Now Van Riemsdyk with the puck behind Thompson. Van Riemsdyk facing some light pressure from Michkov. Michkov comes out with the puck for the moment. Caps with the takeaway, though. It's Lapierre. Lapierre can't get it around Drysdale at the blue line. Now this is Cates on the circle. Cates up for Drysdale. Jamie Drysdale cycling to the far circle. Drysdale stop and go move there. Drysdale still with the puck. He'll take the shot. That one goes wide of Thompson. Michkov back up for Drysdale on the circle. Drysdale sending it across. Long range shot there goes well wide from Sanheim. Caps play it off the boards into neutral. Drysdale there in center, but they're forced to reset beyond the blue line. Back in his own end, Ristolainen trying to get things going for Philly again. Ristolainen dumps it in from the red. First one back there is Konechny. Konechny trying to play it in front. Weird camera angle there from the broadcast. Couldn't quite see the puck there. Faravari dumping it in for Washington as he's in need of a change. Dubois will try and chase it down. He can't get there first. Philly back out the other way again. They've come out with a jump this second period. That pass, though, offline. Jacob Chychrun trying to send it out for the Caps on this breakout attempt. Chychrun over the blue line. Leads for Leonard with a shot. The rebound in front. No opportunity there for Chychrun. Sandin still dangerous. Behind the net's picked up by Ristolainen for Philly. He'll slow things down. Now the other way, it's Drysdale. Drysdale across. Konechny with space. He scores. Travis Konechny left alone on the circle. A great feed from Jamie Drysdale to set him up. There was nobody around him. He was one-on-one against Thompson, and he rips it on the blocker side. We're tied at 1. We'll take one more look at it here. But it seemed pretty cut and dry. Just a defensive gap from the Capitals. That was Sanheim, not Drysdale, who spotted it. Yep. Left Travis Konechny all alone. He was on the near circle, one-on-one against Thompson. Travis Konechny takes the pass there, rips the shot just past the face-off dot, goes off the post, off of Thompson, and in the net. Beat him cleanly off the iron, and then the bounce off that post was not a friendly one for Washington. It ends up beating number 48, and we're tied at 1. Philly came out with a big jump to start this second period, and they make the Caps pay. Washington looking to get it back. It's Wilson. Back up to the point with Sandin with a shot. That one goes wide of Ersson. Rebound lively off the boards. It's picked up by Strome. Strome for Wilson. Back up for Roy. That one forces him into neutral. Sandin will dump this in. Delayed offside. Now washed out. Roy will take the shot from the far point, and that one dribbling dangerously in front of Ersson. It goes just wide. Into the offensive zone, it's Grabakin with a shot and a good save there for Thompson, as he was one-on-one against Matt Roy on that play. This is Sandin now. Sandin with Wilson. Wilson gets crossed up with Strome, and Zegras will pick up the puck. Zegras into the offensive zone. Trevor Zegras behind Thompson. Zegras looking for a pass out in front. Nobody home there. Alexi Protas picks up the puck. Protas will send that one right at Ersson as he skates off to the bench. Faravari with the keeping at the blue line for the Caps, with fresh skaters now on. Washington trying to get going in the offensive zone. It's held in again there. Cutting inside was sort of with a shot saved by Ersson. The rebound was loose for a moment. Ersson able to jump back on top of it and cover up that puck. 14-10 left in the second period. You're going to take one more look at this Konechny goal on the broadcast. Sanheim just noticing everybody on Washington pinch towards his side, and nobody was over to cover number 11 in orange. That was Konechny's 24th goal this season. Team leader for Philly. Offensive zone draw upcoming here for Washington. It'll be to Ersson's right. Off the tie-up, Caps looking for possession. Beauvillier's got it. Beauvillier facing some pressure from Ristolainen is going to try and play it out. Philly ends up with the puck here. Caps, though, stall him up in center and send it back deep the other way. Ristolainen forced to chase it behind Ersson. He's taken into the boards there by Beauvillier. Beauvillier sends it around for Van Riemsdyk at the far point. Van Riemsdyk down to Beauvillier. Beauvillier, stop and go move around Sanheim. Now he's trying to dart back in by the circle. Beauvillier, one-on-one against Sanheim. Sanheim checks him off the puck. Cates is trying to clear it out. He can't. It's held in by Ovechkin. Or not quite. They say it's offside. He couldn't quite hold the blue line on that keep-in attempt. So 13:33 to go here in the second period. Phillies tied it up as we take our first TV timeout. And thank you for letting me know about the bug in the comments. I will get on that now. Should be okay now. Say 13:33. Yes, it does. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Did not realize the bug was frozen for you all. Yep, if you guys have anything that you want to ask me during this broadcast, please feel free to drop something in the chat. I've enjoyed this experience so far. I hope that it's everything that you were looking for in the Caps coverage watch along. We'll see how many more of these we can do during the season. There's not too many games left, and I've got a busy schedule that doesn't allow me to do this kind of thing for every game. But if I had the opportunity, I would love to do this kind of stuff. It is, after all, a fun time and my unofficial audition tape for Monumental Sports Network at some point in the future. Trying to show them that I can do some Capitals hockey. It is a little bit different calling it through a screen compared to a arena, though. I can't lie on that front. It is very different from the announcer experience that I have for college hockey. You look to be back here in Philadelphia momentarily. Neutral zone draw right in front of the Washington bench is won by the Capitals. Out of his net, Ersson leaves it on the boards for Cates. Cates can't get it out, though. Caps trying to establish themselves in the offensive end. Big puck scrum behind Ersson's net. It comes out in possession of Philadelphia. This is Tippett. Tippett can't get around Chychrun there. A good defensive recovery to poke that puck into the corner. At the point, that's Drysdale with a shot that goes wide. Zegras playing it up to Drysdale. Back down for Zegras behind the net. Zegras off the boards. It's intercepted by Frank. Frank, though, can't get it out. Now Van Riemsdyk behind Thompson. Van Riemsdyk has Lapierre with him. And now Frank dumps it in from center. Drysdale off the boards for York. York playing it into center. That one deflects off the Washington bench first, though, so we got a whistle. Going to take another look at how that play developed. This is Owen Tippett going one-on-one against Chychrun. Chychrun looked like he was beat, was able to get that last poke check in, though, to force Tippett into the corner instead of getting in behind him on Thompson. Good play there from Jacob Chychrun. If there was any arguments about who the number one defenseman was before in Washington, there's definitely none now. After what happened at the deadline, what's done is done, even if I disagree about how they did it, even if it was the right decision. That play offside for Philadelphia at the blue line. It'll be another whistle, 12:33 to go here in the middle frame. Flyers and Capitals tied one apiece. Caps out shooting Philly by 1, 12-11 on that board. Christian Dvorak getting set in center for the faceoff here. He wins it for Philadelphia, and Drysdale has the puck in center. Drysdale into the offensive zone. Shot there from Michkov goes wide. So we have that puck go into the netting and out of play for another whistle. A lot more stoppages so far in this second period. These two teams played a very fast opening 20. Definitely a slower pace of play here in the middle frame so far. Dubois wins the face-off for Roy, but they're going to make him redo it. Clean win there for Dubois is going to get washed out and will reset to Thompson's right again. Dubois wins it for Roy. Roy plays it around the boards, doesn't have a teammate there for the moment. Now Sandin trying to get it out, can't get it past Konechny right now. Konechny's pass is intercepted by Dubois. Dubois, one-on-one against Konechny, does a stop-and-go move to get him off that puck. Sandin will play it into the offensive zone, deflected in center for no ice. Ryan Leonard trying to get things going in the offensive end for Washington. He's got the only Capitals goal today. McMichael and Dubois also joining that fight for the puck. Long-range shot there from Liljegren goes just wide. Picked up by Drysdale off the boards. Drysdale working with Cam York now. Back over for Drysdale. Drysdale up ahead, long stretch pass. Nobody home there. Krebakin got a chunk of it, though, no ice. Behind the net, he was fighting against Liljegren. Liljegren comes out with the puck for Wilson. Wilson sends it across. This is Protas into the offensive zone. Protas trying to feed him front for Strome. He couldn't get the shot off there. Wilson can't hold the blue line, but he keeps possession in center. Caps resetting here. This is Strome. Strome in the offensive end plays it across for Protas. Protas back to the circle for Strome. Strome across. Wilson, one touch for Jacob Chikrin fresh off the bench. He wasn't quite ready for that puck, but they keep it in the offensive end for now. Wilson trying to get it in deeper. He can't, and Philly forces Washington back down the ice. Van Riemsdyk. Long pass there. He's got Wilson in alone, and a save by Ersson. Tom Wilson stopped on the breakaway by Sam Ersson right there. A great pass from Trevor Van Riemsdyk out of the defensive end. Ristolainen for Philly the other way. Trying to play it up for Cates. Cates off the boards as he was pressured by Beauvillier. Now this is a loose puck in neutral. Ovechkin trying to get there. He does. Ovechkin's got in the offensive end. Ovechkin out in front for Beauvillier with a shot that goes wide. Philly can't clear the defensive zone at the moment. Down low, Sandin trying to keep the pressure on for the Caps. Sandin can't get around Noah Cates, and now Philly finally has it in center. This is Michkov as that play is offside. We'll get a whistle with 9:54, which should take us to our second TV timeout of the period. Matvei Michkov dejected on his way to the bench. He knew he had an opportunity and was just a little bit ahead of that play to make it go offside. And we head to commercial break here for the second time in the middle 20. Hope the bug was working for you guys there. Let's take a look throughout that period. Looks like it was running smoothly for you. That's good to see. And it is currently on 9:54, which is correct. Awesome. Glad I got that sorted out. Thank you for letting me know in the chat that there were some issues there. Bit of fun game so far. Fast-paced in the first period. Much slower so far in this middle frame. I'll give my voice a rest for the rest of this TV timeout. All right, we appear to be getting ready to go again here in Philadelphia with 9:54 to go in the middle 20. 1-1 between the Caps and Flyers in the city of brotherly love and cheesesteaks. I have personally driven to Philadelphia on multiple occasions just to eat a cheesesteak. And for reference, I do live in the DC metro area, so yes, I have driven 2 hours just to eat that sandwich on multiple occasions in my life. But they are very good when they're from that city. They're pretty good in general, but they do them different there. All right, we've been playing for about 10 seconds. Now let's get back to work. This is Dubois in the offensive zone for the Caps. Dubois plays it in deep. First one there is Drysdale. Drysdale can't get it around Ryan Leonard. Leonard on the far circle plays it up to the point, and now it's in possession of Sandin on the near side. Sandin behind the net to McMichael. McMichael rotates with Dubois. Dubois looking for a passing lane. He has Sandin at the near side. Sandin playing it back down low. Leonard picks up the puck. One touch for McMichael. Back up to the point with Sandin with a shot. That one goes wide. Strome was looking for the rebound off the pad. He couldn't keep it on goal. Travis Konechny, Philadelphia's goal scorer, slowing things down, leaves it for Drysdale. Drysdale, as the Caps are in the middle of a change, sends that one down the ice. Sandin picks it up in front of Logan Thompson. Konechny hits that puck with a high stick, and this should be a whistle. As we're going to get some extracurriculars after that one. Looks like you have Travis Sanheim going at it with Alexi Protas, was your main culprit. Travis Konechny got hit hard there after that whistle when he played that puck with a high stick, before that whistle, when he knocked down the puck with a high stick and was trying to avoid playing it. Let's see it one more time. Knocks it with a high stick there. Wilson hits him before the puck is touched up, maybe? It is as the puck is being touched up, so bang, bang play there. Wilson had already committed to the hit. Konechny not in position to defend himself as well. Here's Wilson's breakaway again. A nice save there for Ersson off the beautiful pass from TVR. Showing a lot of looks at this Wilson breakaway and then a near one for Ryan Leonard. Neutral zone face-off. Possession goes to Strome and the Caps. Now it's Chychrun. Over to Van Riemsdyk. Back for Chychrun. Jacob Chychrun dumps it in from center. Around the boards, it ends up in front for Protas with a shot and a save for Ersson. Behind the net, Strome feeds it out for Chychrun. Chychrun will send it around the side. Held in for the moment by the Caps. At the point, they've got it with Wilson. Across to Chychrun. One touch back over to Chychrun with Strome. Strome has it at the near side. Strome down low to Van Riemsdyk. Trevor Van Riemsdyk plays it around for Protas. Lets it go to Chychrun. Back over for Protas. Protas trying to feed Wilson. Wilson can handle it cleanly. Look out here. Tippety's got a step on him with Zegras. Zegras a shot. He scores. Caps were cooking in the offensive zone at the other end. A mishandle at the point from Tom Wilson turns into a 2-on-0 for Tippett and Zegras. Tippett feeds it over to his teammate, and Trevor Zegras gives Philly their first lead of the night. Not a great sequence there at all for the Caps. They were getting some good cycling going in the offensive end. Tom Wilson couldn't handle a pass cleanly. Turns into a 2-on-0 the other way. Logan Thompson trying to track both Tippett and Zegras. Had to commit to one of them, hoping that they would pull the trigger early. He commits on Tippett. Zegras able to beat Thompson there. Caps trailing for the first time tonight now. Looking for a response. This is Liljegren. Liljegren working against Couturier in the corner. Liljegren gets out the puck. Couturier keeps it in, though. Down behind the net, it's picked up by Liljegren. Liljegren plays it with a partner, ends up back with him. Liljegren, long stretch pass there, looking for Sordiff. He can't get to it, and this will turn into icing. Alexi Protas was trying to get back there as best he could, but it was truly a 2-on-0 with him trying to track down two skaters. No chance there for Logan Thompson in tight. That was Zegras' 22nd goal of the season for the Flyers. Offensive zone draw for Philly is won by them. Drysdale with a long shot that goes wide of Thompson. Held in at the near side here, it's York. York playing it down. Back inside for Drysdale with a shot. That one goes wide of Thompson's cage. Faravari and Michkov on the far boards. Sordiff there too. Justin Sordiff playing it down low. Back out in front. The Caps have a breakout going now. It's Beauvillier. Anthony Beauvillier one-on-one against Drysdale. Drysdale gets around him, and now Michkov has it in neutral. Matvei Michkov into the offensive zone. Michkov trying to set up the offense for the Flyers. He was looking for Cates for a moment. Now down low, Philly still with possession. Caps trying to get out of their defensive end here. Loose puck is cleared down the ice. Ethan Frank going to leg out the icing too to keep it in the offensive zone against Sealer. Around the boards, it's picked up by Sandin on the circle. Sandin with a shot that never got all the way to Ersson. The rebound for Frank is ripped wide. Caps trying to get established again here. Sandin, a long shot from the point off the boards to Haim, looking for anything on that rebound. He's able to push it to Frank in the corner. Ethan Frank feeding it inside. Nobody home there. Philly gets it back out the other way. It's Konechny. Travis Konechny. 1-on-2 in the boards. Ethan Frank defending that pass in front to Bump. Loose puck in front of Thompson is picked up by the Caps. They play it off the glass and get it into center. Ristolainen trying to reset here for the Flyers in his defensive end to get another breakout going. Ristolainen, drop pass Bump. Bump sends it over to Konechny. Konechny can't get around McMichael there, but Konechny picks up the puck off the redirect. Bump sends that one out to the point. Nobody was home on that pass. It'll force Ersson out of his net to leave it to Sanheim. Travis Sanheim passing it up there to Zegras. Zegras, who just scored for the Flyers, has that shot blocked by Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk and Zegras into the corner. Around the boards, it's picked up by the Flyers again. Trevor Zegras. Zegras on the far circle. One on everybody. He's able to keep possession. Owen Tippett, though, can't hold it against Ryan Leonard. Now in center, Philly's forced to reset again. Zegras into the offensive zone. Across for Tippett. Tippett has that pass read by a couple of capital sticks. Wilson trying to pick it up in center. He can't get it past Ristolainen. Now here comes Ristolainen for Philadelphia. He'll take the shot. A stick save there for Thompson into the corner. Owen Tippett trying to play it in front. Dylan Strome with the takeaway. Dylan Strome looking for a passing lane. He's got Wilson. Wilson takes it over the red line and will dump it in. Ersson out of his net to play it. Protas in front for Strome. That was a misplay there from Ersson. Strome couldn't keep the shot on net. Cap still dangerous in the offensive zone here. It's Wilson. Across. Shot there, and it goes wide of Ersson's cage. Cap's really trying to establish some offensive zone time here. Ristolainen takes it away from Protas south of the net, and he'll send it into neutral. Couturier getting tied up there with Liljegren. Caps pick it up in their defensive zone with Sordiff. Justin Sordiff leaves it in center. Nobody home on that pass. Noah Cates will keep the pressure on for Philly. Liljegren into the boards there against Grbacon and Cates. Cates trying to play it out in front. Farivari gets in the way for a moment. Beauvillier trying to get it out. He can't get it around Grbacon. Loose in front of Thompson. He'll cover it up with 2:53 left in the period. We finally get our third and final TV timeout of period number 2. Philly on top 2-1. 2 goals in this middle frame thanks to Konechny and Trevor Zegras. It appears we're getting ready for the final 2:53 here in the city of brotherly love. Thank you to everybody for joining the Caps coverage. Watch along tonight between the Washington Capitals and Philadelphia Flyers. Caps were off to a good start in this one. We're up 1-0 after the first period, thanks to Ryan Leonard on the power play. Philly with 2 goals in this middle frame as a response. Off the face-off, it's sent all the way down the ice, but right at Ersson, so no ice. Caps trying to get set up here. Picked up by Leonard on the far circle. Leonard for Dubois. Dubois looking for a pass. He's got Sandin at the point with a shot. Hey, where did that puck end up? They blow it dead. It must have been caught up in Ersson somewhere. But boy, he was looking around for that puck frantically. Showing some highlights of some hits throughout this game here. It's been very physical on both sides. Moved it out to neutral. May have been an offside at the point when Sandin was trying to hold it in instead. Philly ices this one. This will be an offensive zone draw for the Caps for sure now. 2:23 left here in the second period. Shots on goal, 14 apiece. Philly on top where it matters, 2-1. Spencer Carberry trying to rally his troops, looking for the tying goal here in the city of brotherly love. Strome and Couturier getting set at the dot. Offensive zone draw is won by Strome. Chychrun with a shot. That one goes wide of Ersson. Drysdale sends it around the boards. He'll get it into neutral. Chikrin trying to play it over for Sandin. Sandin up ahead. He's got a teammate with Protus. Protus was 1-on-3, though, and has to dump it in. Sanheim back there for the Flyers. Protus picks it off again in neutral. Wilson, one touch for Strome over the blue line. Strome down low for Protus. Protus 1-on-1 against Ristolainen, can't get it out. Faravari playing it off the glass. In neutral, Ristolainen picks it up again. Sends it in deep as the Flyers are in the middle of a change. Cap's trying to catch him in, and Ovechkin, though, offside on that play. That'll whistle it dead. Caps and Flyers. Very physical game here in Philadelphia. Not a lot of shots and opportunities each way. It's being won in the trenches right now. $14 shots apiece. 2-1 Philadelphia. Here with 1:34 left in the second period. Sordiff with a face-off win in center. But Philly takes possession with Tippett. Tippett 1-on-1 against Sordiff. Good defensive play there from number 34 in white to take him off the puck. Loose puck in the corner. Philly trying to keep it in deep. They will for the moment. Back there is Zegras. He gets checked off the puck by Faravari. Faravari pushes it over the blue line, will force Philly to reset. Faravari gets taken down behind the cage. Sordiff picks up the puck. At the point, it's held in by Sanheim. Down low. Flyers getting set up here as a shot is flagged down by Thompson. That one coming off the stick of Trevor Zegras, who scored once this period. 53.2 left in the middle 20. There's the play from Grundstrom where he took down Faravari behind the net. Faravari had his back turned as Grundstrom took him into the boards. Definitely not a fun play for number 42 in white. Philly now on top by 1 in the shots on goal department. Offensive zone tie-up for the Flyers. It's taken possession by the Caps. Washington looking to get set up here. This is Dubois. Dubois leaves for Chikrin with a shot. That one goes wide. Puck is picked up off the boards by Ristolainen. He's trying to feed Konechny with a step. Konechny has to go behind Thompson to pick up that pass. Sandin can't get around Ristolainen, who sends it towards Logan Thompson. He'll glove it up with 25 seconds to go in the second period. Another offensive zone draw coming up for the Flyers. That one a very low-danger shot from Rasmus Ristolainen. He was definitely looking for the face-off more than the goal on that play. Take one more look at this opportunity at the other end for Chikrin. Oh, actually, that was deflected by Ryan Leonard just wide. That is why that did not stay on goal. That was a great tip from Leno. He just missed the net. He would have had Ersson beat cleanly. Glendening and Sordiff at the faceoff dot here. Sordiff wins it. Sandin plays it into neutral. Grabakin there for Philadelphia. He can't get it around Protus. 15 seconds to go in the frame. Flyers look content with running out the rest of this clock unless they get a stretch pass here. And Wilson stalls that up in neutral. Matt Roy playing the puck back through center. 2 seconds left as Wilson goes in for one more hit on Grabakin. Grabakin's not going to like that one. But that'll do it from the middle 20 here in Philadelphia. Flyers on top 2-1 after 2 as Couturier and Wilson are still getting into it after this horn. We'll see if any penalties are doled out. I'm going to give my voice a break for the next 15. I'll be back at 9:30. Actually, I'll go 9:35. We are just about ready to get back here for the third and final period of play in the city of brotherly love between the Caps and the Flyers. Flyers on top 2-1 after 40. Caps led 1-0 after the first 20. Flyers with 2 goals in that middle frame, thanks to Travis Konechny and Trevor Zegras. Their 2 leading goal scorers this season, each with a tally for Philadelphia in that middle 20. Konechny's goal, a defensive gaffe from the Caps that led to him being one-on-one against Thompson. Konechny shot it off the iron. It bounced off of Thompson's leg and in. And then Zegras' goal, another breakdown for the Capitals, turned into a 2-on-0 with him and Owen Tippett. Thompson had to commit to one shooter. He committed to Tippett. And obviously in the 2-on-0, there's only so much you can do about the other guy. Zegras roofs it past Thompson as he was diving back over. Made it 2-1. Caps are looking for a hero in Philadelphia. Flyers looking to close it out in what is becoming an increasingly difficult playoff chase for the Capitals each day. Chances were slim before. A loss today would definitely make them get much closer to 0 than they already are. Same goes for Philadelphia. Both of these teams fighting for any playoff life that they have left. So we are just about set to go here in the third period of play from Philly. They've dropped the puck at center, and we are ready to go here in the third period. Right off the face-off, Trevor Van Riemsdyk picks it up in his defensive end, trying to get things going for the Capitals. In center, they've got something going with McMichael. McMichael playing it deep into the offensive zone. Trying to play it out in front. That was Dubois. Nobody was home on that last touch. Now Philly's out the other way. Flyers want to go for the quick change and choose to send it behind Thompson instead of establishing themselves in deep. Caps trying to go the other way with Ryan Leonard. Leonard down low to Protas. Protas, one touch up for Strome. Dylan Strome taken into the boards there by Zegras. Zegras still one-on-one against Strome. Strome plays it out to the point for Roy. Over for Chychrun with a shot save. Ersson still loose in front. Caps can't pick it up. Philly's got it in neutral now. This is Zegras. Zegras across. Sanheim in front and a save by Thompson. Now the other way. Here comes Protas. Protas trying to catch Philly in a rush. Leaves for Sandin across Ovechkin. Couldn't take the shot there. Zegras can't get around Sandin in neutral. Sandin's going to reset again and try and get another breakout going for the Capitals. Rasmus Sandin at his own blue line, looking for a pass ahead. Tried to force one into Sortif there. Philly read that, and now they're going to reset once more. This is Leonard. Ryan Leonard chipping it to the left of Ersson. Behind the net, Flyers trying to use the boards to get into neutral, and they will. Here comes Philly with Michkov. Michkov behind the net against Farivari. The two of them both overskate the puck. Ryan Leonard now dumps it off for Liljegren. Liljegren, a long stretch pass there. He's trying to hit Beauvillier. Beauvillier only able to touch it with a glove. Cam York now for the Flyers. York plays it through neutral. The first one there is Liljegren. Liljegren sends it the other way with Sortif. Sortif, south of the Philadelphia goal. Justin Sortif taken into the boards there by Glenn Denning. York picks up the puck. Rings it around the side. Couturier there, one-on-one against Chychrun. Caps held it in for a moment, and now it's a loose puck in neutral. Philly will be there first with Konechny. My apologies, that's Glenn Denning. Now here's Lapierre. Lapierre gets it over the red line and pushes it in deep. Ristolainen back there for Philadelphia. Flyers trying to play it through neutral again. Ristolainen's clearing attempt is going to turn into icing as Chychrun's back there before Glenn Denning. Just under 3 minutes gone here in the third period. Caps looking for a time tally. Philly looking to try and earn a win on home ice. Caps and Flyers faced off not too long ago. 2-1 or a 3-1 win for Washington back at the end of February. So we see this opportunity that the Flyers had. Sanheim right in front of Thompson. Thompson sticking it aside. Offensive zone draws won by the Caps. This is Chychrun on the far circle. Chychrun up to the point for Dubois. It bounces over his stick, and Dubois is forced to replay it in center against Couturier. Now this is Van Riemsdyk in his defensive end. Up ahead has Chychrun. Chychrun into the offensive zone. One-touch move there, a little bit too fancy. Couldn't pass it over to Wilson. Nick Seeler slowing things down for the Flyers. Seeler, long stretch pass there. He's able to have a couple of guys get a chunk of it. Now down low, it's Dvorak for the Flyers. Dvorak on the boards against Strome. Up at the point, it can't be held in by Seeler. He'll go and chase it down. Ersson dangerously out of his net there. Wilson with a takeaway. Wilson was trying to look for a pass to get a quick shot off there on Ersson. Nobody was with him in the offensive zone, and now Philly's got the other way. Could only hold it for so long, though. Flyers back up in neutral again, this with Dvorak. Christian Dvorak, one-on-one against Roy. Dvorak sends it around the side. Back over again. This is Protas. Protas. Down to Roy. Across. Back up for Protas. Alexi Protas, 1-on-3 into the offensive end. Protas crosses himself up, and now Tippett's out the other way for the Flyers. Tippett on the far circle. He takes a shot. That one gets deflected out of play. 15:45 to go in the third period. Philly still on top, 2-1. Showing an Owen Tippett highlight reel on TNT right now. Owen Tippett's had himself one heck of a game, including an assist on the Zegras goal. They're showing that play at this moment. Owen Tippett acquired a few years ago as part of the return in the Claude Giroux trade that sent the former Flyer captain to Florida at the deadline when he was at the end of his contract. Offensive zone draw for the Flyers to be taken by Zegras. Caps win it, though. Ferravari's got it behind Thompson. Up ahead for Leonard. He drops it back to Ferravari. Martin Ferravari cruising through neutral. Ferravari now into the offensive zone. Sends it around the boards at the point. It's held in by Liljegren with a shot. That one gets deflected wide of Ersson. Caps looking for some sustained momentum here in the third. This is Leonard in the offensive zone. Leonard leaves to Ferravari. Ferravari on the far circle in front. Leonard couldn't pull the trigger there. Now look out here. It could turn into a chance for Tippett as he's got to step on Liljegren. Tippett in a lone save by Thompson. Logan Thompson, a breakaway stop on Owen Tippett right there. Tippett picked up the loose puck and used his wheels to get around Timothy Liljegren after the mishandled shot from Ryan Leonard. Thompson there to bail him out. See it one more time. Liljegren trying to get back. Thompson able to have the answer there on Owen Tippett. Loose puck off the offensive zone draw for Philly goes into Washington possession. Nick Seeler back in his defensive end, resetting for the Flyers. Now it's Cates. Philly trying to get established in the offensive zone. They can't do it cleanly there. Washington clears it down the ice again. Seeler in a foot race with Frank. Frank gets there first. Frank and Seeler take each other into the boards behind Ersson. Now LaPierre picks up a puck in neutral for the Capitals. Chychrun for Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk goes over the red line and dumps it in. Philly looking to just try and keep possession and clear out some clock time here. This is Couturier in the offensive end. Couturier feeding in front. No shot off there. Zegras was looking for one more poke. Now here come the Caps the other way with McMichael. He was one-on-one against Sanheim. He couldn't get a clean step, though. Now Ristolainen's back in the offensive zone for the Flyers with 14 to go in the third period. Dubois with the takeaway for the Caps leads to Sandin. Sandin will take the long shot. Ersson gloves it down, and he'll hold with 13:51 to go in the third. As we have more pushing and shoving after this whistle yet again. The chippy game is just getting chippier. Tom Wilson and Alexi Protas and Pierre-Luc Dubois getting involved with pretty much every flyer on the ice here. Travis Konechny in the center of it again for Philly. We'll take a timeout here. 13:51 to go in the third. We'll see if they call any penalties on the other side of this break. All right, we're getting back to play here in the third period in Philly. Just under 14 minutes to go. Caps trailing by 1 against the Flyers. But it's definitely not been for a lack of effort on the physical front. The Caps have been hitting everything in sight. As we see Tom Wilson sitting in the box on this way out of break, along with Travis Konechny. Both of them sent off for their involvement in that post-whistle scrum on the other side of this TV timeout. Let's see if they go 4-on-4 or 5-on-5. It is 4-on-4. Let me get up those penalties for you real quick. 43-11. All right, here we go. And it's an offensive zone draw for the Caps based on last whistle. And they're using the dumb camera angle again. Of course they are. This is Chychrun in his defensive end. Chychrun leaves to Sandin. Rasmus Sandin looking for a lane. He's got one into the offensive zone himself. Sandin feeds for Chychrun with a shot. That one never stayed on Ersson. Leonard has to play it back out to Sandin in neutral. Rasmus Sandin slowing things down, goes next to Thompson. Now he'll recharge. Dubois trying to motor into the offensive end. He can't do it there. Zegras with the takeaway, and now here comes Philly the other way. This is York. Cam York drops to Zegras. Trevor Zegras looking for room. He's pressured well by Protas there. Zegras at the point. He'll take a long shot. Pad save for Thompson. Rebound to York. Save. Rebound. Tate's in front. Plays it out for Drysdale with a shot. He scores. Jamie Drysdale. A 4-on-4 goal, and with how low event this game's been so far, that one really feels like it might be too much for the Caps at this point. Washington still without an official shot on goal in this third period. And Jamie Drysdale has just put the Flyers up by 2. Take one more look at it here. It's a good individual effort from Zegras to maintain possession. Takes a long shot from the point, which turns into a big scrum. Noah Cates plays it out in front. Drysdale, with the screen developing, just rips it past Thompson. As Thompson's falling over, he lost his footing in the crease, too. No chance there for LT. And the Caps came out slow in this third period. Philly made them pay, and now they lead by 2. Tank is on, folks. The tank is on. Still 4-on-4 for another 40 seconds. Shot there from the Flyers, bounces out of play. Again, thank you so much to everybody who tuned into this stream today. I'm going to have to watch the rest of this game as I'm multitasking. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to stream here. I've got some stuff I need to get done. I was hoping that it would be a more exciting first one on the Capitals call for you all, but Washington appeared to have some other plans. I'll stay through the next TV timeout, and then I think I've got to go. But again, I truly appreciate everyone who's tuned in so far tonight and everyone who's still here now. We'll see how regular we can make these things. I have a busy schedule in life. Tonight worked out well enough for me. Defensive zone draw is won by the Caps. Chikrin plays it to the outside with McMichael. Connor McMichael cruising through center into the offensive zone. Playing it back out in front. Sordiff has the puck in the slot. He takes a shot. That one goes wide of Ersson. 15 more seconds in the 4-on-4. Roy with a point with a circle blast and a save there for Ersson. The Caps finally have a shot in this third. McMichael still dangerous behind the Philadelphia net. Wilson and Konechny back out onto the ice. We're at 5-on-5. Wilson, fresh out of the box with a shot and a glove save there for Ersson. That one's going to do it for me on this stream, I believe, as we get set to take a TV timeout. Or not yet. We did take the 14. That's right. Okay. I can go for a little bit longer. Tom Wilson, fresh out of the box, finds the soft spot in the Philadelphia defense, rips one from the circle at a screen Sam Ersson, and Ersson's able to flag it down with the glove. Good save there for number 33 in orange. Couturier and Strome in the offensive zone draw for Washington. Strome wins it for Sandin at the point. Sandin, a long shot. That one gets blocked down in front and never got all the way to Ersson. Caps resetting again. Wilson dumps it in from the blue. Ristolainen back there for the Flyers. Rasmus Ristolainen checked off the puck there by Strome as he dives in front. Penalty coming up on the Flyers. Thompson on his way to the bench. Sandin for Strome. Strome trying to play it in. Couturier with the takeaway. He'll touch up. But Philly's going shorthanded here. Caps 1 for 2 on the power play tonight. Their only goal on the man advantage thanks to Ryan Leonard. Slash assessed to Sean Couturier. Philly's captain headed off to the box. And if you're the Caps, this is the time to capitalize. Dylan Strome with a great chance in front of Ersson. Ersson with the save, and then Couturier slashed him in the hands right after it. Let's see what Washington can cook up on this man advantage here. Strome getting ready at the dot. against Dvorak. Dvorak wins it for Philly. Sanheim trying to clear it, he will. Early clear for the Flyers right off the faceoff. Chychrun resetting behind Thompson. Jacob Chychrun looking for help. Chychrun finds one. And now my stream's freezing. No. Okay, we're good. Chychrun for Wilson on the circle. Wilson down to Strome. Strome rotates with Wilson. Or Dubois down for Strome. Back up to Dubois on the circle. Dubois points it out to Chychrun. Back for Dubois. Inside Wilson. Back Dubois. Down low Strome. Strome had it bounce over his stick. Had to recover. Swings it hard around the boards. Dubois can't handle it. Chychrun picks it up in neutral. Strome into the offensive end. Plays it up to the point for Chychrun. He couldn't handle that pass cleanly, and he has to chase it down in center again. Caps check up. Strome plays it inside to Chychrun. Chychrun in front for Wilson to save the rebound to Ovechkin. He can't keep it on net. Loose puck in front. Strome across. Wilson a shot saved by Ersson. Rebound lively. Philly picks it up and gets it through center. Owen Tippett on a delayed offside will kill off some more time. 35 seconds left on this power play. Connor McMichael as the Caps get the second unit out onto the ice. Has Leonard. Ryan Leonard into the offensive zone. He'll take the shot. That one goes off the post and all the way down. Rasmus Sandin looking for one last rush on the man advantage. 15 seconds left in the slash to Couturier. Leonard to the point for Sandin. Across, a shot there goes wide. Leonard. One last look for Sandin as the penalty expires here. Ristolainen picks up the puck as the penalty is officially killed. Couturier has it in center and he'll dump it in. Under 9 to play here in the third period in Philadelphia. This is Sandin in the defensive zone. Rasmus Sandin. Down deep, it's Sordiff. Justin Sordiff, one-on-one on the boards there against Zegras. Sordiff comes out with it. Justin Sordiff, off the boards for Liljegren. Plays it across for Farivari. Inside Beauvillier. Beauvillier, back down for Farivari. Farivari rotates with Liljegren. Liljegren has the puck and takes a shot. Doesn't get to Ersson. Still loose in front. Caps poking at it. Ethan Frank has it in the corner. Back up to the point. It's Liljegren again. Across for Farivari. He fakes. Liljegren will take it. Goes wide of Ersson. Beauvillier picks it up. Back up for Liljegren. Liljegren waiting for something to open up. He'll play it down deep. Jamie Drysdale there for the Flyers, but he's 1-on-2 against Beauvillier and Sordiff. Trevor Zegras coming in to support his teammate. Around the boards. Picked up. Shot there from the point. Still loose in front. Sordiff can't keep it on goal there. Justin Sordiff 1-on-1 against Zegras. Zegras gets the better of him there, and Michkov finally skates it into center for the Flyers. Good set of chances there for the Caps. They rung up 3 shots on goal on that last flurry of chances. This is Roy now. Roy inside. McMichael trying to keep it on net. Behind the goal, it's picked up by Dubois. Dubois feeding it in front. Couturier with the pickoff there. Now this one rolling right to Thompson. He'll play it out for Van Riemsdyk. Off to Roy. Matt Roy, one touch for Wilson. Wilson in the offensive end. He's got Dubois with him. McMichael with a shot. That's going to be squeezed by Ersson. And with 7:06 to go in the third period, that's where I'm going to have to call it a night. Thank you so much for tuning in to this game between the Caps and the Flyers and my commentary over it. We'll see if I come back with one of these. Tomorrow might work for me. It might not. Still some things up in the air. But again, appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight. I'll watch the rest of this game, but I have to get some multitasking going. Thank you, Caps coverage viewers.